Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone that have taught us this truth, and to include the elder bishops on down, and Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Brakatham, to the elect, whom this gospel is for, and it's your brother Laban. And I want to give my take on this piece that DJ Trump has declared all around down in Egypt, that the Gaza strikes is gonna be put to a standstill now, and that there's gonna be peace. But we know, according to the scriptures, that there is no peace, save the Lord, unto the wicked. So that's not even possible at all. And when they do say peace, you best believe you mean that the devil is coming with his tricks up his sleeves, and that's what is to be expected of this devil. All right, you can't expect anything otherwise. So anyway, let's get right into it. Israel didn't attend peace summit, didn't sign treaty, now hints at imminent Gaza strikes. Israel's absence from today's international peace summit in Egypt says it all. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu didn't even bother to show up, officially blaming a Jewish holiday, while his government now threatens to restart military operation in Gaza, claiming Hamas hasn't handed over enough corpses. In reality, it looks like Israel waited until the last hostages were returned so Hamas would lose all leverage. Now, with global cameras focused elsewhere and diplomatic cover secured, the Netanyahu coalition appears poised to resume the assault and finish what it started. More than 20 nations, including European powers, Arab states, and the U.S. assembled in Sharm el-Sheikh to sign a ceasefire to launch plans for Gaza's future. So what we're going to have to do is wait and see if that's even the case. Because let's just say they do cease fire completely at Gaza. Guess what? What I've also found out is that they're looking to come at Iran this time around. And what I should have done is I should have had prepared that video, because there was a video that I thought that I had on deck, but I don't. And this woman, which is pleasantly to look upon, Rachel Blevins, she usually has these people on her show that speak on various different things which is happening geopolitically and stuff. So, what she was going into is the fact that probably the next place, which is where they want to go, is towards Iran, and the most part, which Iran has always been the enemy, the go-to enemy. They have to tread carefully with Iran, because Iran is to a degree a superpower with the weapons that they have, and as well as they have connections with other powers, which is on the east, which is Russia, and as well as China, but primarily Russia, to be exact. So they're not a nation that you can just intervene and bully like they did the rest of these other nations and stuff, with drones and places like Yemen, places like Baghdad, places like these that didn't really have the power to defend themselves. Iran ain't one of those. All right, so they got to tread carefully with Iran, but that's their go-to. All right, and so when we're talking about Israel in this case, and the places which surrounds Israel, the nations that are there ain't going to be no peace among them, as this is also written too. Zechariah 12 and verse 1, the burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, saith the Lord, which stretched forth the heavens and layeth the foundation of the earth, and formeth the spirit of man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, when they shall be in the siege, both against Judah and against Jerusalem. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces. though all of the people of the earth be gathered together against it. So the point is that that area, which is Jerusalem, is going to be a burdensome stone to the people round about it right now, because the people that are ruling, or the people that are in that land, are of course the Amalekites, is what was prophesied in the Bible, is that these people would possess the land. Okay, Ezekiel 36 and verse 3. But we can begin by reading the first verse. Also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord power, because the enemy have said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours, in possession. Therefore prophesy and sing, thus saith the Lord power, because they have made you desolate, and swallowed you up on every side, that you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and ye are taken up into the lips of talkers, and are an infamy of the people. Right. So in the last days, verse 2 to be exact, I didn't mean to read over that, but verse 2 to be exact says that the enemy have said against you, aha, even the ancient high place are ours in possession. And it kind of reminds me of that interview which was had with Jacob Baron Rothschild, which he's now dead, which he passed away a couple of years ago, if I'm correct. And they both sat down, both of these two Amalekites sat down, speaking about how the Balfour Declaration Act is how they got the land. You know, so in the last days, the enemy would be in the land, and it would be a burdensome stone to those people over there. Because ever since they went down there, they were fighting against them Arabs since 1948, and even throughout the 1970s, and still there's this tension between those two people. Okay, the so-called Arabs and the so-called white people that are there, which are really not even white, they're really just plain old Edomites, and they're not who they say they are. The Bible, the people of the Bible to say that's not even the case at all. Because what we found out through the Holy Spirit is the fact that we're the people of the Bible, something that they've always known all this time. Proverbs 6. Matter of fact, let me go back a little bit and let me read. Let me read verse 4. Therefore, ye mountains of Israel. Let me read verse 3 again. And therefore prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord power, because they have made you desolate and swallowed you up on every side which they had, that you might be a possession unto the residue of the heathen. And we are a possession to the residue of the heathen, because the residue of the heathen, which makes up what, 0.53% of the population, control everything. And if they control everything of this planet Earth, then wouldn't they have power over us easily? Oh, yeah, you got them fucking right, they would. And ye are taken up in the lips of talkers, and are an infamy of the people, meaning we're famous for the wrong things. Because through mass media, which they control 100% of it, is the reason why most people look down upon us furthermore. All right? Most people don't expect anything good from us because of the mainstream media. Using rap music as a tool, and then therefore, let's just say gangster rap to drill music to whatever it is that Jake is now listening to, as a tool to make us look terrible in the eyes of the nations. And who heads all of these institutions? The so-called JOO. Is Ezekiel 36 and verse 4. Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord power, and thus said the Lord power to the mountains, and to the hills, and to the rivers, and to the valleys, and to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and a risen to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, which ties into what? Ezekiel 38, where it mentions that the Lord will, let me go and read that, because I'm going to butcher it. But it reads in the book of Ezekiel 38 that the Lord is going to have Gog. Hold on, let me go and see if I can find it. Right, verse 16. And thou shalt, I'm going to read verse 15 though. And thou shalt come from thy place out of the north parts, thou and many people with thee, and all of them riding upon the horses, and a great company and a mighty army. And thou shalt come up against my people of Israel as a cloud to cover the land. And it shall be in the latter days, and I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me when I shall be sanctified in thee, O God, before their eyes. So basically, it ain't literal where it says they're going to come up against his people, because by then we're going to be in the lands that we've been scattered abroad in when the third woe is being had. All right, we're not going to be there. What this is saying is when you read between the lines and you put your spiritual lenses on, what it's saying is that the people of God are going to come up against them Amalekites in the land. That's what it's talking about, and it actually says it once again. And I will bring thee again my land against my land, that the heathen may know me. So it's telling you that the heathen are going to be in that land. So which one is it? Is it the Lord's people that's going to be in that land, or is it the heathen? It's the heathen. Again, you got to read between the lines. And I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me when I shall be sanctified in thee, O God, before their eyes. So that's what's going to happen. The Lord is going to express his anger by them Russians, and they're going to be the one to invade Israel with those destructive weapons whom the Lord has given them. All right. So where was we at? Yeah. So let's continue to read verse 4. Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the words of the Lord. Power, thus saith the Lord, power to the mountains, and to the hills, and to the rivers, and to the valleys, to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and the derision to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Right, because we've been scattered among the nations, into every rivers, into every valley. Okay, and to the desolate wastes, because these places will become desolate. And therefore, thus saith the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, which is going to be Amalek, and against all Idumea. So in these last days, Idumea, which are the Edomites, which Idumea is just a Greek way of saying Edom, which will be in the land of, which is called Israel today, will be visited of the Lord with those Gogites, which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all of their heart, with the spiteful minds, to cast it out for a prey. Okay, so the Lord, as it is written, right? The Lord is going to express his jealousy for all of this, as well as this is written. Proverbs 6 and verse 34, for jealousy is the rage of a man. Therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance, and the Lord will not spare in the day of his vengeance at all. Because, all right, fair enough, the world is going to experience the Lord's indignation, but more so up front, the Most High has a bone to pick with Edom. And his undying anger against Edom is going to be expressed when the Son makes a second return. Oh, yes, indeed. All right? Because you're going to have the nuclear destruction, which will be had, which is going to be a part of that indignation. And then the Lord is going to intervene with his form of fire, which is going to be concentrated to add more insult into injury. All right? As well as it's written, what will I do if I sent fire on the earth? Because that's what the Lord is coming to do. All right? So again, there ain't going to be no peace in the east. Let's continue on. Speaking about vengeance, more about that. Ezekiel 25 and verse 12. Thus saith the Lord power, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance. And how did they do that? When you go back during the time of David, which Genesis, think 25 speaks about that. I think it's either Genesis 25 or 27. which expounds on that the Edomites would take vengeance, or they would rebel against the Israelites during that time period. And even more so now, they've taken vengeance against us, because what did they do to us? They enslaved us and did us totally wrong and brutalized us in many various different ways as they did. Just to fast forward from that time to the time of our enslavement. All right. So they've taken vengeance and have greatly offended and revenged himself onto them. And that's what these devils did. They've greatly offended. Who did they offend? Yes, they offended us, but highly they offended the Heavenly Father himself. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom. And who is the hand of the Lord which will be stretched upon Edom is Yahweh Shai. That's going to be the hand of the Lord, the hand of Yahweh. And I will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. And they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, save the Lord power. So again, there ain't going to be no peace in the east until the wicked is destroyed. That's all that's coming for the wicked is destruction. There ain't no peace. Isaiah 48 and verse 22, there is no peace, save the Lord, unto the wicked. Isaiah 57:21 says the same thing. There is no peace, save my power to the wicked. And who are the wicked? Malachi 1 and 4 is the Edomites. They're the wicked. So as long as they're ruling somehow, some way at the very end of their tenure, guess what? They're going to meet destruction right in the face. And they're going to be consumed by the presence of destruction. Okay? Because it's coming in a big way. It's coming in a big way. So all of this is just a front to say, okay, yeah, we're done with Gaza now, and families have returned back to the families, and family members that were pretty much in Hamas and have returned back to their family members, and all this joy and everything's everything now. No, something else is going to be had, and maybe the violence in Gaza will continue. But what I really believe, and this is my personal opinion, I believe that it's going to be something else, and they may just do away with dealing with Gaza because they've already destroyed Gaza till there's nothing left. Anyway, they've already destroyed those Palestinians and stuff. So what I'm thinking now is the next move is going to be where they're going to try to come up against Iran, and this time it's going to really be something serious for the sake of causing a great deal of controversy, because they want war. These are warmongers. The Western powers want war, if anything else. All right, and Israel would like to maintain their power in the east, and Iran is in the way of that, man. So again, the next move is to gear themselves towards Iran. One last precept I want to read as well. But of the time, 1 Thessalonians 5 and verse 1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Absolutely. So when they say peace, as well as it's written, these devils, they've been known to destroy many, so-called coming in this spirit of peace. All right, Antiochus Epiphanes did it. And guess what? These devils are doing the same thing. So either and or, even if they generally mean they want peace, guess what? The counsel of the Lord is not going to have that to be the case. Anyway, so that's all I got to say with this. I want to give all of the praise and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Hashem Rakah HaKodash. And with that, I'm going to close with this one as well. And I say Shalom.